Welcome, everyone, to the Better Love Movement podcast, where you will finally learn how to intentionally do dating and relationships right. My name is Anita Stoudemire, and I'm a licensed professional therapist and your personal love mentor. I've worked with thousands of singles and couples, giving them the skills needed to attract and keep the amazing love they desire. It's my heart's work to help people to get the skills needed to not only become the very best versions of themselves, but to help them grow and evolve emotionally and relationally. You can absolutely have the romantic relationship of your dreams. Come and let me show you how. Hey everyone, it's Anita with Better Love Movement, and I am back this week with a new podcast episode. We are in episode number 93, and it is entitled, Stop Running from the Pain. And so I'm going to let you know straight away that this episode is going to be a swift kick in the pants for a lot of you. It's what you need. It may not be what you want, but it's going to be what you need. And every now and again, I've got to have episodes like this because I am committed to change. I am committed to growth, and I am committed to your change and your growth and your evolution. I want you to be better. It's not good enough to just gain new knowledge and never apply it, never use it, never stretch and grow and change your mindset and shift your paradigm. It's just, it's just stuff that you're doing. And it's kind of like being on a hamster wheel. You are learning new things and doing things and going places, and, you're just doing this around and around and around. Nothing really changes, right? And so because I am so passionate about change and growth, and also because I realized today there was a quote. I'm going to see if I can find it on my phone very quickly. It woke me up to some things, even in my life, that everyone is not committed to change. Everyone's not committed to growth. Like, they're comfortable doing the same thing over and over and over. They're comfortable getting the same results over and over and over. And as frustrating as that is to me, as frustrating as it is to look at or be a friend to, be a family member to, I have got to come to terms with the reality that that's some people's journey. Like, that's it. And as a recovering codependent, that's been really, really tough because I want people to get it. And when they don't, that's the toughest part of my job. I've always said that, is watching people ram themselves into a brick wall over and over again. That is the toughest part of my job, when people don't get it, or when they get lots of great knowledge and they don't apply it. That's the toughest part about what I do as a therapist and as a coach. So this is the quote. It said, "One of the greatest awakenings come when you realize that not everybody changes. Some people never change, and that's their journey. It's not yours to try and fix them." So, that hit hard today. That hit really hard today for me because I have people in my life that I care deeply about. I love and care deeply about. And yet they are as committed to not changing as I am committed to changing. And so, that leads me to a fork in the road. So I'm at this fork in the road where I can go left and I can, be there, but disengaged, disingenuous, but I could be there. I could kind of be there with them or hold space for them, but be disingenuous, be fake. Or I could go to the right and I could release them like 100%. Just let them go. And I've come to this fork in the road many times. And, it is never an easy decision. And dare I say it, a lot of times I go right. And I believe that there may be growth found in me if I go left. Like if I go left, that may be an opportunity for me to grow. And sometimes I do, but more often I go to the right. I disengage. I don't have anything to say to that person, or I don't engage with them anymore. I'm not mad, as folks like to say, we're still cool, but I cannot be in close relationship with folks who are just committed to not changing and not growing. That's really, really hard for me. But I'm beginning to think, I've been in prayer about this, and God is possibly revealing to me that maybe that's my area to grow in, to learn how to maintain a relationship with a person like this, not a close one, but some form of relationship with this person. But I grow and keep space and accept that, it's not my journey to fix or help or any of that. But then there's a part of me that feels like, man, that just feels so disingenuous. That doesn't feel authentic to me. So that's just some thoughts that I've been having and I wanted to share with you. But we're going to jump into today's podcast episode. Remember, the title is Stop Running from the Pain. So I want to start off by reading an excerpt from the book by Mark Manson. Great book. I definitely recommend that you check it out. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Okay? By Mark Manson. It says, pain is a part of the process. It's important to feel it. Because if you just chase after highs to cover up the pain, if you continue to indulge in entitlement and delusional positive thinking, if you continue to overindulge in various substances or activities, then you'll never generate the requisite motivation to actually change. So, what I love about this quote, and I read that book a couple of months ago. I can't believe I hadn't read it sooner because I'm a voracious reader. But there was so many amazing aha moments in that book for me. And that was one of them. And that's something that I've known for some time now, that, you can't skip the pain. You can't run away from the pain, whether it's the pain of a breakup, it's the pain of just any form of heartache, a person dying, a friendship ending, just things not turning out the way you expected. We get pain from all types of things. And it's the folks who, let's say right after a breakup, or even before you even break up, you start looking for a replacement. You start putting feelers out there because you want a monkey branch from one person to the next. Or let's say right after, you dive right back into dating, or you start responding to men in your inbox because now you're single. There is no break. There's no reflection. And remember, reflection is important. We must reflect. And the reflecting is not to beat ourselves up. The reflecting is not to say, oh, I can't believe you stayed for this long. How stupid of you. How could you waste 4 years with this guy or 5 years with this guy? You should have known better. That's not what the reflection is for. It's not to beat yourself up. It's not to make yourself feel bad. But you need to do that. You've got to stop and reflect so that you're not making the same missteps over and over and over. And when you reflect, when you take the time out without rushing into another relationship or drinking a lot of wine or whatever it is you do, what do they call it? Retail therapy, whatever it is you're doing, because you're hoping to feel good to block out the fact that there's pain there. I want you to understand you're not giving yourself what you really need to make change. Like very little change is going to occur because you've put a Band-Aid over it. You put a Band-Aid over a gaping wound. You've got to stop running away from pain. It's a part of life, and it has its proper place in life. Bad things are going to happen. Things that we don't expect are going to happen. And we have to learn how to manage it. We have to learn how to breathe through it. We have to learn how to feel it. Because I believe it's the people who really feel it. They stop and feel the pain. They feel awful and they self-reflect. I believe those are the people that learn and grow. They learn lessons from it. And they're not so quick to make those same mistakes again. So a lot of people will ask me, I've been divorced now 17 years. So for some reason recently, a lot of people have been asking me about that. Like, you have not remarried? You have not remarried in all that time? Or, I thought you were married, or I thought you were in a serious committed relationship. And I was, a little over a year ago. But a lot of people are curious about that, why I'm not remarried and so many years have gone by. And that's because that relationship was very traumatic, very much so. And I needed 5 years, almost 5 years. I'm talking no dating, no sex, no nothing. Nothing was happening for 5 long years. Because I wanted to make sure I never chose someone like that again, never made that misstep again. I needed to be assured that that was not going to happen again. So I took that time. I felt that pain. The pain was the worst it had ever been from the first date of separation. And that lasted maybe 2 years of just gut-wrenching pain. Just the thought of my ex-husband, the thought of, not being a family, not turning out the way I expected it to, could send me on my knees. It really, really could. And 2 years of that. And there was the occasional glass of wine here or the occasional buying something there. But I didn't have my normal things that I like to have that make me feel good. I wasn't traveling during that time. A lot of the things that really light me up and make me feel good, I wasn't able to do. I was knee deep in raising 3 children under 3 and just managing my life. And not being where I wanted to be, not being in the career I wanted to be, not having anything that I really wanted. And 2 years, it took 2 years of just being neck up in the muck. And there's one thing I notice about me, that I don't bounce back. I don't heal as quickly as other people. And I'm not saying that is good or bad. That's just a fact. That's something that I've noticed. I've just become aware of, that I just don't bounce back. I don't bounce back in 3 months or 6 months. Even then, that was many years ago, and I just don't bounce back. I think that's just who I am. But I'm a reflective person. I'm a very self-reflective person. I like to grow and learn. I don't enjoy pain. So it's not that I'm a masochist or a sadist, whichever. But I also don't want to just run into the same brick wall over and over and over. I don't enjoy making the same mistakes over and over and over. And here's what some people will do. Some people will, and I went through a short phase where this happened, where I didn't make any choices. Like that whole 5 years, not that anybody saw me. I was completely invisible to men. And I said that many times. There were many times where I would go out or I was in school or whatever I was doing, and I was completely invisible to men. But I believe that was God's protection on me. And, but sometimes people will, when they go through something very traumatic or a very painful breakup, they will make no choices. right? They'll get into this phase of life where they don't choose anything because they're afraid to choose wrong. They're just like, well, I just won't make any choices. But I want you to understand something. Not making a choice is still making a choice. And I had to stretch that muscle. I really had to stretch that brave, courageous muscle. I had to become courageous again. That's who I am naturally. But that situation knocked all the courage out of me, all the bravery out of me, gone. And I just would not make any choice. I would not do anything. I was just in this perpetual, wake up, do the same thing, go to bed, wake up, do the same thing. I was doing that for years. And I was playing it safe. I was playing it safe. So I don't want you to go there either, right? I want you to stretch that muscle again and become brave, make choices, trust yourself again. That took a long time for me to trust myself again. And here's the thing, I've still made mistakes. I have still not trusted my gut enough to not either get involved with people that, first date, second date, third date. I was like, you know what? This is not a good fit. This is not for me. There's some practical things here that are just not a good fit. Me and this person are not really compatible. We may have chemistry with each other, but we're not really compatible. Yeah, I still struggle with balancing that head and that heart. But here's the thing. I'm brave enough to make those choices. I'm brave enough to deal with those consequences of those choices because I want to live. I want to actively live my life. I want to mess up. I want to get it right. And I encourage you to do the same. Live your life, make mistakes. You'll get it right probably more often than not. I know for the most part, I've gotten it right more often than not. And my bravery has definitely paid off. But there have been times where it doesn't, and I mess up. I mess up big time. And I stop. I feel the pain. And I take whatever time I need, which I think is more than the average person. And then I get back out there. I get back out there again and I make choices again. I make decisions again. And I'm encouraging you to do the same, but you've got to stop and feel the pain. Because there are those of you out there, you are drinking too much. You are using substances. You are using people. You're using sex. You're using money, work. You're using buying things. You're using all these things to mask the pain that you're in. And here's the thing, time does not heal all wounds. Time will numb wounds, like wounds are not as fresh over time, but it is the work. It is time plus work equals healing of wounds. That's what healing is. Okay, so I know a lot of people that they have made so many missteps or they've had some bad things happen to them and they just roll right on. They don't stop. They don't really feel the pain. They don't reflect. They roll right on. They roll into the next mistake and the next mistake and the next mistake. And because time has passed, they want to believe that, they're healed or they're okay. And they're not. They're not. It's coming out. It's coming out of them in their friendships, in their family relationships, in their romantic relationships. It's coming out in their indecisiveness. It's coming out in their confusion, their confused mind. That's a sign that you are not healed. It's coming out in not really knowing what you want or what you don't want or what you need. Not being able to describe to others what you want or don't want and need. Being vague. All of those are signs that there is healing there that needs to be done. There's definitely growth that needs to be done. If I ask you, what don't you want in a partner or in a relationship? and you're not sure. Like you name one or two things, but you're not sure about the rest of it. Or if I ask you, what does your soul need in a relationship, in a partner, to feel your best? And you're not really sure. There's work there that has to be done. Because I can guarantee you, you're not going to get what you need. You're not going to get what you want, and you're not going to avoid what you don't want if you don't even know what that is. Pain is required. Now, how much of it depends on you. When I was young, in my 20s, I used to say, I am the type of person that needs to mess up to really learn. I am the type of person that needs to feel the sting of pain to really learn. I went through my whole 20s that way. There were lots of people available to me, mentors and people available to me that had loads of wisdom and advice and things that they could tell me about so I wouldn't have to experience firsthand. And I didn't listen. I had to experience it firsthand. I had to have my own experience with this pain. And that was all of my 20s, just doing the same thing, being on that hamster wheel over and over and over. And there was no YouTube. There was no Instagram or Facebook. There was no content creators or influencers. There were books, and I read many of them. There were therapists. There were other things that I could do. I think there was, the Oprah Winfrey Show, maybe. There were things out there. But I was one of those people that got a kick out of just walking in the fire over and over, getting burned. And as soon as those burns would heal, I would go right back in. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I could do that over and over. And by the way, there were times where I would go back in and my burns hadn't even healed. I would walk right back into the fire. It was crazy. But I also was not self-reflecting back then, or I would self-reflect. It was minimal. Like I would feel that pain. I would feel the sting of the pain, but I would run to something to cover it, to soothe it. And that would make me feel better temporarily, and I just kept going that way through all of my 20s. And around 30, 31, I made a very poor choice in a husband. And it was that experience of being married, going through that divorce that finally kind of woke me up. This is one of the most painful things I've ever experienced. And so I got to learn something. I got to feel this. I can never forget this. I can never forget this. I remember saying that. I will never forget this. And it's funny because it's not something I talk about often. It's rare that I even talk about this. But there is a memory, there's like muscle memory in my mind. It's kind of like riding a bike, right? So if you rode a bike as a kid, or if you learned to swim as a kid, and let's say you went 10 years, and you never rode a bike, or 10 years and you never went swimming. But when you get in that water, when you get on that bike, and it, first couple of minutes, you're like, wait a minute. Well, hold on. Okay. I know how to do this. It comes back. It comes racing back. I know how to do this. That's what that experience is like for me. So it's not something I think about every day, not even close. It's not something I think about often. It may be once a year where I'm asked to share my story or to talk about that, and maybe not even that. But one thing I will forever be grateful for is that my mind has muscle memory. It knows what a narcissist looks like. It knows what a narcissist feels like vibrationally. I can feel a narcissist over the phone, in the room, on a dating app. I can feel it. And I'm so grateful for that. I am now having that experience again with the last relationship that I was in. I'm gaining this muscle memory that says, time waster. This is a time waster. This person is a time waster. They don't want anything good for you other than to waste your time. They are a selfish time waster. And so now I am becoming hypersensitive to that. Like I will, always remember the traits of a time waster, a confused person, a person who doesn't know what they want, who's indecisive. That lesson comes from pain. It comes from feeling that pain consistently and getting up and moving ahead still, like regardless of, you still got to get up, you still got to move ahead, but you feel that pain. You don't mask it. You don't cover it with anything. I think the last possible vice that I have right now, because I've given up all my vices, but the last possible vice I may have to use to soothe myself when I'm in pain is retail therapy, shopping and buying things. But I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't have sex. What else? I don't use substances. Like I don't have any other vices. So I have no choice but to feel the pain. And again, I have learned a very valuable lesson. And so I get to take that lesson with me. And that's what I want for you all. I want you to take these lessons with you. Have that muscle memory about these relationships that didn't work out, these people who hurt you. And remember, you have to have that muscle memory in your brain. You don't have to talk about it all the time. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to, share it with anybody. It's your personal pain. But you must develop some sort of muscle memory, mental muscle memory around it so that you can identify it again. So you do not get duped again. That's your job. Your job is to learn and grow from this pain. And if you don't, if you forget, if you get amnesia, you're going to find yourself right back in the same situation, wondering, how did this happen? How did this happen? How am I here again? Okay, so pain is a part of that process. You've got to feel the pain. And I mean, I will cathartically go through these periods where I will just release it. I will either cry or scream or hit things that are safe to hit, yell, throw things that are safe to throw. I will listen to the saddest music ever. I will sit in the dark, and just feel it. It doesn't last long. There are times when I'm sitting in my car and I am like, you know what? For the next 10 minutes, I'm going to put on the saddest song I can find and I'm going to feel this pain. And I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry one of those loud, ugly cries. Like I'm going to let this pain out. I'm going to feel it and I'm going to release it. But you've got to do that to move forward. That has to be a part of the process. You cannot keep running from the pain. You cannot keep using people or situations or circumstances or things, substances, activities, being busy. You've got to feel the pain. And so many of you have told me, I don't know if I can handle it. I'm afraid of the pain because I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if that pain is going to break me wide open. And trust me, I understand. I completely understand. I remember going through a breakup in my 20s and feeling like my heart was going to burst out of my chest. Like it was awful. I remember in my 20s, after kind of a series of breakups, because remember, I was just masking the pain. So one relationship didn't work out, I'd jump into another. That didn't work out, I'd jump into another. And I would just do that over and over. And after a series of dating experiences or relationships that didn't work out. I was broken. I can remember I was staying in a high rise then, and I can remember thinking, man, I wish I could get this window open so I could jump out of it. I can remember that. So, yes, this pain, it's something. And maybe you need to be walked through it with a therapist or a trusted friend, a family member, if you really don't think you can manage it on your own. That's why they have professional helpers, a coach. You've got to have someone there to help you with that if you feel like you're not strong enough, that God forbid you could hurt yourself. But yes, it feels awful. I get it. When people tell me that, I go right back to the place I was in when I was feeling horrible. So I understand. It's scary. I think that's a lot of reason why people run from the pain. They run from self-reflecting is because it's scary. And you're going to see some things. You're going to feel some things that, yeah, you don't want to feel. It doesn't feel good, right? But you've got to do it if you want to grow, if you want to get better, if you want to avoid the situation that you're coming out of. You've got to learn from it. And one way to do that is you have to feel the pain. That is the catalyst for change. You have to believe that I can get through this. I will reach out for help if I need to. I will go through this with someone supporting me, but I must feel this pain. I must identify my part in it, how to avoid it in the future, what it looks like, what it sounds like, every part of it. And I'm going to get past this pain. I'm going to go through this pain. See, we try to go around it or over it or under it. We must go through it. And I like to run through it. It's the pain part is the part that I do run through. The healing part is the part that's very slow for me. That's the part that takes me forever. But I can wake up on any given day and I don't feel the pain. I feel good. I'm just grateful to be alive, but I'm not 100% healed, or I'm not healed to the point where I need to be in a good, healthy place or to engage with others, especially after a breakup or a divorce. I need lots of time. And here's the thing. The other thing I have become committed to is I refuse to selfishly engage with people knowing I am not healed, knowing I am not in a good, healthy space in my healing. So not 100% healed. That's not what I'm talking about. But I must be healed enough, okay, to the point where I am still going to be helpful to that person. I am still going to be an asset to that person. I am still going to be someone that can engage in a healthy way with another person. That's where you got to get to in your healing. But if you are coming into another relationship, getting triggered, crying, yelling, cursing, and everything triggers you, everything makes you feel bad or remembers your breakup, you're not ready. You're not ready. I'm just going to keep it 100. You don't have any business out here dating. You don't have any business out here trying to go on to someone else because you're not ready. But honestly, a lot of people do this. And it's selfish. I'm going to call it what it is. It's selfish. It's you wanting to get your needs met. It's you using another person to meet the needs that you have. Damn them, right? If your toxic nature, if your non-committal, toxic, whatever it is you got going on, forget them because you're just getting what you need. You need to be with someone. You need to have someone want you and love you and validate you. You're getting your needs met. But that is a selfish way to live. And trust me when I tell you, people like that, they don't win. They don't win. So many of my clients have been saying lately, it's like women who are really great and, love a man and want to be there and want to be, committed and are good mothers and, good cooks and very supportive. It's like we're not winning. It's like these other girls out here, these Instagram model looking girls, or these girls who just want a man's bag, or these girls who aren't faithful, aren't loyal. It's like they're winning. They're getting all of the attention. They're getting all of the validation. They're getting all of the men's time. And what I know for sure, especially as a person of faith, keep watching. I want you to watch that movie all the way to the credits. And then I want you to keep watching past the credits. You ever watched a movie where once the credits rolled, there was another scene after the credits? That's what I want you to do. Pay attention. Those people are not winning. I know it looks like they are, but they're not. So stay on the side of you're taking your time, you're growing, you're changing, you're evolving, you're getting healthy, you're healing. And stay to yourself while you do that. Feel the pain of, I might feel a little lonely. I might, want someone to hold in the night. I might want someone to kiss in the night. But I want you to stay in that space because you've got to feel that pain so you don't ever make that mistake again. And trust me, you will win. You will win by doing it this way. So this was a hard talk. You needed it. I needed it. I needed to hear it. You needed to hear it. But stop running from the pain. You've got to sit still. You've got to stop doing. And you've got to feel it. You've got to take time and feel it. And then you can get up and go on about your day. But gain that mental muscle memory. Don't forget.
Thank you
Don't
for
forget
listening
what
to today's
happened.
podcast episode.
Don't forget how bad it
If you
felt.
are enjoying this podcast,
because that's going to keep you
leave me a
from
5-star
ever wanting
rating
to do
and
it
review.
again.
Your ratings and
Okay?
reviews help
So
me
to my
to
ladies
continue
who
to bring
have
you more
slept
great
with a man
content.
too soon, who
Head
have
on over
given
to
too
YouTube
much
and check
too
out
soon,
the Better Love Movement channel.
who have
There's more video content
given their
there,
all,
and you can
who have
subscribe
taken a
to be
man back
notified when a new
more
video
than once,
is posted.
thinking
If you
that
have a
this time
question
would be
that
different,
you would
and
like
it
to have
wasn't.
answered on the podcast or in a
Remember.
YouTube video, please
Remember
send it
these
to me at
things.
info@betterlovemovement.com.
You're going to need that information to move forward.
You can also
so you
connect
don't
with
find
me
yourself in
directly
that position
on the
again.
Magnify app
Don't
to
ever
have your
forget it.
dating and relationship questions answered.
Thank you so
That's
much for listening today.
MAGNIFI,
And as always,
and it's available on
stay
iOS
open
and
to
Android.
love.
You get your first 5 minutes for free. So give me a call and let's chat.